Hi all. If you're like the rest of us and you're confused about what the budget means to you, let me walk you through a couple of things. So for a lot of single mums, the federal budget probably feels a bit like this. Okay, thanks for the small help, but I'm still drowning in housing costs. And honestly, that's probably a fair reaction. There are definitely some positives in the budget. Small tax cuts, a bit more take-home pay, not a lot, and measures aimed at helping housing affordability over time. But for many single mums, the bigger pressures are still sitting there. Rent, mortgage payments, childcare, groceries, trying to survive on one income in a two-income economy. That's the real issue. So most of you aren't struggling because you're irresponsible with money. You're struggling because life has become incredibly expensive and doing it alone financially is tough. So the budget does offer some relief through tax cuts and deductions, minimal, which may help with everyday costs. For some women, that might mean a little breathing room each fortnight. Maybe groceries don't feel quite so brutal. Maybe school expenses are a bit easier to absorb. Maybe it's a choice between private school and public school. The reality is, for many families, those savings do get swallowed up almost immediately by rent increases, insurance, power bills or fuel, particularly when they've changed how they help investors have houses that any of us can rent out. Housing is still the elephant in the room and nobody's really addressed it properly. Government says the changes to investor tax rules are meant to help first home buyers. In theory, if you're a single mum and you haven't had a house before, it could help you try and buy a new home. Problem is, affordability isn't just about the prices anymore, it's about your borrowing power. And interest rates have gone up, so that changes it all. So a single income borrower often gets hit from every angle. Lower borrowing capacity, higher living expense assessments, childcare costs affecting serviceability, and limited ability to save while you're renting. So even if prices soften slightly, getting into the market can still feel impossible. And for single mums already renting, there's another fear. If your investors buy property, rental supply could tighten and rents could keep climbing. That uncertainty creates a huge amount of stress, especially when children are involved. And this is where I think a lot of single mums underestimate the value of talking to a mortgage broker early, even if they think they're not ready. A good broker isn't there to pressure someone into buying a property immediately. Sometimes the biggest value is simply helping someone understand what's possible, what needs work, how long it may realistically take, which lenders are more flexible, what government schemes may help, and how to rebuild financially after separation. Because here's something many women don't actually realise. Not all lenders assess single parents the same way. Some lenders are far more understanding around child support income, dependent children, maternity leave, part-time work and family tax benefits. That can make a massive difference. So for some single mums, the path into the market may not look traditional anymore. It might mean buying smaller, buying further out, rent vesting, purchasing a townhouse instead of a house, getting help from family, or buying later than planned, but being prepared. Honestly, that's okay. The goal isn't perfection, the goal is stability. I talk about that all the time. For many single mums, owning a home isn't about showing off or building a massive portfolio. It's about security. It's about knowing the kids won't have to move schools because the landlord sold the property. It's about having control over your future again. Budget doesn't magically solve those problems, but it does make one thing very clear. Financial strategy matters much more now than it ever did. And the single mums who tend to do best financially over time are usually the ones who ask questions early, get good advice and make a plan before they become urgent. So, if you want a good pathway forward, message me and let me know. Have a great day.